Hello, and in this third installment of our gameplay elements in Unreal 4, we will be discussing dynamic geometry, or uh, what we can create from particle system with emitters. Let's get started. So as you can see here, I've created a simple um, emitter here from the particle system that is just blowing some leaves. Um, but let's say we wanted this to look like, let's say, some bubbles blowing from, I don't know, a bubble machine. So let's look at that example. So first, let's create a simple shader for our bubble. So first, we'll go ahead, and I've already created a bubble that I've created from getting an image from the internet, and um, I've saved this object as a powers of 256 by 256, and let's confirm that it might be 512. So no, it's 256 by 256. So what we need to do is, in order to keep, in order to just show the bubble itself, we'll need to add an alpha channel um, uh, to eliminate what is the square corners around this bubble. Um, and there are other ways that you can eliminate this area around this in the shader system in the material editor in Unreal. But we're going to start and create it in Photoshop first. Import the texture into Unreal 4 as a Targa, 32-bit Targa texture, and then take the shader and apply a translucent um, uh, opacity to that. Okay, so let's get started. First, we will, so I'm using just this one layer, so don't worry about the other two layers there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select outside of the bubble, and I'm going to do Control-Shift-I and just select the bubble. And then I'm going to go over to Channels, and I'm going to select Save Selection as Channel, and that will add our alpha channel. Go back over to Layers. I'm now going to, and I can deselect if you like, it doesn't matter. And now I'm going to save my texture as a targa, and we're going to call it bubble. I already named it bubble when I created the file. So now all I have to do is just save and make sure that it saves at a resolution of 32 bits. That fourth channel totals 32 bits. We're going to say OK. And now we're done with Photoshop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to import from Unreal. I'm going to import the texture in. So let's go ahead. I'm going to import it into my textures folder. I'm going to click Import. Let's go ahead and find our bubble targa, which is right here. I'm going to say Open. And we're going to save. And now what we'll do is, now that we've imported our texture into Unreal, we have to convert this to a material in order to use it in Unreal. And we don't necessarily have to, not in Unreal 4, but it's a good practice to follow. So in any event, let's go ahead and right-click and create a material. And by default, from creating this texture, it creates the material with an underscore MAT on the end of the material to let you know that it is a material. As you can see, textures are outlined on the bottom with red. Materials will be with green. Now, I like to organize my materials and put them into the materials folder. So what I'll do is, once I save this, I will once I save it and make sure everything is working with it, I will move it over to the materials folder. So first, when we open up our material editor, you'll find that the shader here is the texture sample here is already connected to the base color. What we're going to do is I'm going to connect the opacity to this, and I'm also going to and then once I've connected the opacity, I'm going to select my blend mode, and change it from opaque to translucent. And as you can see, it is now translucent, or the alpha channel has taken the white area and erased it, if you will, or taken that channel, and in this case the fourth channel has given us the opacity that we need. Now I'm going to go ahead and save my material, and it'll finish saving there. And now I'm going to actually take my bubble material. I'm going to move it to my materials folder. It's going to ask me, do I want to copy or move? I'm going to say move. And now once I've done that, I'm going to select my particles folder. And actually, I just realized I still have my particle system in here from when I created my leaf. So let's go ahead first, and I'm going to delete this out of the world so that there's no conflictions in where the pathing is for this particle system. And I'm going to move that into my particles folder as well. All right, then I'm going to save all. And now I'm going to go over to my particle folder, and I am now going to select new particle system, and we're going to call this one bubbles. Hit enter, and then I'm going to double click on bubbles. And as a default, the emitter system is there's a default texture that's placed out there that represents our emitter. Now we can select our required layer here, and we can change our default particle. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select my bubble material, and we'll give the particle system a second to compile with the new selected bubble. And as you can see, now I have some bubbles here. Now as a default, you can see the bubbles look pretty nice, and I think that's a nice looking bubbly system, but we can adjust things like the lifetime of the bubbles. For example, I can start out with half of that starting out, and it will give a different distribution based on the minimum distribution and its maximum. I can change my maximum to 75, for example, 0.75, and you'll get a lower max on our lifetime. But I like the 0.5 to 1. It's not a huge difference, but I like it. I'll go ahead over to my size, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe change this down to 15. Let's see how it looks. So now I've got this minimum size that's sort of giving me these various bubbles versus them all being the same size. I can actually also go over to Z and do the same thing. And as you can see, on the minimum distribution size, we can vary our bubble size. We can also change our initial velocity. I'm going to take up 100, and I'm going to go up to 2, and give it more of a fish tank look, if you will. I'll take 50 up to 100. And actually, just for the sake of this example, let's do something a little slower. So let's go down. We'll do 50 and 25 here, so that we're not getting and actually, now it's a little cluttered. So let's change that. Let's go 150 to 75. And actually, I think I like that 25 to 150. But let's check out what 75 looks like. Actually, let's look at what 50 looks like. Okay, not too bad. And we can also change the color over life as well. But I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave that alone. I like the way my bubbles look right here. I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And now I'm gonna close my emitter system, or my particle system. And now I'm gonna save all. And then I'll take my bubbles, put them out in the world. And now we have bubbles. And of course, the leaves that I created, I can put those out there as well. Actually, I could combine the two of these as well by adding another emitter in my particle system. I'm going to have leaves and bubbles blowing. And as you can see, I can rotate all the way around. I can move all the way around my particle systems and see them blowing and bubbling. Okay, and I thank you for watching.